Okay, let's unpack this. We are about to dive deep into, well, a really major force in TV history, right? The whole MTV reality television
Oh,
thing.
yeah, it's massive. We're talking about the big two here.
Exactly. The pillars, you could say. The real world kicking things off, the original social experiment.
Mm-hmm. And then, much later, the whole teen mom universe, which is a whole different beast.
Totally different. So real world starts way back 92. The idea was like philosophical almost.
Yeah.
7 strangers.
Right. Stop being polite, start getting real. That was the mantra. See what happens when you stick young people together.
So it was also about saving money, wasn't it? Like cheaper than a scripted show.
Oh, definitely. That was a huge driver for Boone and Murray. No writer salaries, no big actors, no elaborate costumes. Reality TV was just, well, more budget-friendly.
Makes sense. And then you compare that to Teen Mom.
Completely different angle. It spun out of 16 and Pregnant, which was,
Right.
initially more like a docuseries about a specific issue.
But it became this huge, long-running saga, following the same women for years and years.
Exactly. Not swapping casts every season. It was about documenting their lives, long-term motherhood, jobs, relationships, custody stuff, therapy, everything.
So today, we've got all this great source material. We could look at the formats, the big controversies, how things were made behind the scenes.
And the impact, right? The long-term effects on the people actually on the shows. Some good, some not so good.
Yeah. So our mission, basically, is to track how MTV kind of invented this reality playbook and completely rewrote it over, like, 3 decades.
How they filmed real life or, the edited, maybe provoked version of it.
Okay, so let's rewind right back to the start. The Real World, 1992. Our sources say it was inspired by that PBS documentary from the 70s, An American Family.
That's right, The Loud Family. That series kind of laid a conceptual groundwork showing you could just film a family's daily life and it would be compelling.
But like we said, for Boone and Murray, the real push was practicality, economics.
Yeah, scripted shows cost a fortune. This was a way around that. Film real people, cut costs. It accidentally created this whole new genre, really.
And the formula itself was pretty simple, but effective. Right.
Totally. Get 7 or 8 young adults, originally like 18 to 26. Put them in some amazing house or loft in a cool city.
A really nice place, usually. Way nicer than most people that age could afford.
Definitely part of the fantasy. And then just film them all the time, nonstop.
And that iconic opening, everyone knows it.
Oh, yeah. This is the true story of 7 strangers picked to live in a house.
To find out what happens when people stop being polite.
And start getting real. It perfectly sold the idea that drama was just inevitable. You just had to wait for it.
It's funny, though, thinking back, the reviews at first were terrible.
Yeah, critics hated it, called it painfully bogus, exploitative. They just didn't buy the social experiment label, especially with the fancy setting.
They thought it was fake.
Or at least, like, engineered for conflict. Which, maybe wasn't entirely wrong.
But here's where it gets really interesting, like you said. Despite the critics, those early seasons tackled some huge stuff.
Seriously heavy topics for MTV back then. Things scripted TV mostly avoided. We're talking prejudice, AIDS, abortion, religion, politics.
It became this weirdly important cultural mirror, almost by accident.
Absolutely. And the season that really hammered that home, that proved the format could be both popular and meaningful, was San Francisco, 1994.
Right. That wasn't just about personality clashes anymore. It got serious.
You had the whole conflict between David Puck Rainey,
Oh, Puck, yeah. The bike messenger guy.
total chaos agent,
Right.
and Pedro Zamora, who was an AIDS activist and educator,
Wow.
and openly gay, living with AIDS on national television. That was revolutionary back then.
And just having him there talking about his life, his work, it was huge.
And the tension between him and Puck wasn't just annoying housemate drama. It felt like it was about something bigger, about tolerance, acceptance, life and death, really.
Pedro's visibility was incredible. And tragically, he died just hours after the season finale aired.
Yeah. And the impact was undeniable. He got tons of media attention, even recognition from President Clinton for raising awareness about AIDS. It showed the show could actually matter.
We also got to talk about the confessional, right? That little room.
Oh, the confessional booth. A masterstroke. Introduced properly in Season 2 LA.
Where they'd go in, look right at the camera.
Yeah, and talk directly to you, the viewer, in complete sentences explaining the drama.
It feels so standard now, but it was a big deal then.
Huge. Editorially, it gave the producers perfect sound bites to guide the story. Psychologically, it created this intimacy. You felt like you were getting the real scoop, directly from the source.
Someone called it like therapy without the help.
Exactly. A place to vent, maybe, but no actual resolution or guidance, just raw thoughts beamed straight to the audience.
Okay, so let's zoom in on that second season, Los Angeles, because it really started setting the template for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it was originally just real-world California, but they changed it later, and it got much bigger.
Way bigger, like 13 episodes for New York, then suddenly 21 for LA.
Yeah, they clearly saw the audience was hungry for more. More footage, more daily life, more drama unfolding over time.
And it kicked off with that road trip idea.
Right. 3 of them, Dominic, Tammy, John, driving that Winnebago cross-country from Nashville to Venice Beach.
That little segment was so gold, they built a whole other show around it.
Exactly. Road rules. Just took that concept, young people, vehicle, forced proximity challenges, and ran with it for, 14 seasons? All started right there in season 2 of Real World.
LA was also the first time they had to replace people, right?
David Edwards got kicked out. Evicted by the housemates, actually.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. And then Irene Barrera-Kearns left mid-season to get married.
So they brought in replacements, Glenn Nessens and Beth Anthony, which showed producers, hey, if things get stale, you can just swap someone out, shake things up.
Inject new energy, new potential conflicts. Became a standard reality TV move.
And the conflicts in LA.
Right.
Wow, they were intense. Episode 10 focused on Tammy Roman deciding to have an abortion.
Yeah, that was huge. Not just talking about abortion, but following someone's deeply personal, very real decision-making process on camera.
And the arguments it sparked.
Oh, man. You had Tammy and Aaron Bale, who was pro-choice, versus John Brennan, the devout Christian country singer from Kentucky, who was strongly anti-abortion.
And they just aired that. Raw, uncomfortable debate.
Yep. Put it right out there. Forced viewers to confront these really divisive issues alongside the cast. It showed the power and maybe the potential danger of that early format.
And Tammy was going through a lot anyway. She quit her job during the season, right? As an AIDS care specialist.
Yeah, the emotional toll of seeing patients die was just too much. You could see the stress building.
Which probably contributed to the season's biggest blow-up.
The David Edwards eviction, definitely.
He pulled the covers off Tammy when she was just in her underwear, kind of as a prank.
Yeah, a really ill-conceived prank. Tammy felt incredibly violated, understandably, especially given everything else she was dealing with.
And Beth Stollersick jumps in.
And makes that infamous comparison, saying David's attempt to downplay it was like a rapist's rationalization.
Whoa, okay, that escalated things.
Massively. Suddenly, it wasn't just about a dumb prank. It was about consent violation and incredibly loaded language. David was furious about the comparison.
And the cast had to decide what to do.
Yeah, they debated for hours. Was the prank worse or was Beth's comment worse? In the end, they voted to evict David.
So the producers let the cast police themselves, basically.
Seems like it. An early example of using the group dynamic to handle conflict resolution, even if it was super messy and controversial. Creates great TV, though.
LA also had that classic real-world theme. The fish out of water. John Brennan.
Right. The conservative Christian country singer dropped into liberal, edgy Venice Beach. He felt totally isolated.
Got teased a bit, felt misunderstood. Even years later at a reunion, someone called him a loser for sticking to his beliefs.
And Tammy herself had to confront her own biases when Beth Anthony, who was a lesbian, moved in. Tammy admitted she had preconceived notions.
So the show really forced people, cast, and audience to deal with prejudice head-on. Race, region, sexuality. It was all there.
It was right there in the living room, playing out between people you started to feel like you knew.
And some of them really used that platform, didn't they? Post-show careers.
Oh, yeah. Tammy Roman built a whole acting career, then became a big star on Basketball Wives. She really leveraged that initial fame.
And Beth Stollersick went full meta-reality.
Totally. Posed for Playboy, then founded Planet Beth, an agency for reality stars. She understood the business side early on.
And John Brennan.
Went back home to Kentucky, became a church youth pastor, reportedly still a virgin as of a couple of years ago, stayed true to his path.
It's wild that 7 of the 9 people from that one season came back for the homecoming reunion in 2021.
It really shows how profoundly that experience marked them. Being filmed like that during that intense period of their lives, it sticks with you. #tagged AAV, format evolution and criticism of the real world.
Okay, so the show's a hit, it's making waves, but it couldn't just stay the same, right? The format started to change.
Yeah, it had to evolve. Producers probably realized just filming 7 people hanging out wasn't always going to deliver the drama reliably. They needed structure. More structure.
So they started giving them jobs.
Yeah.
Group activities.
Exactly. Miami season, they had to start a business together. Other seasons, they worked at a radio station, a magazine, whatever.
It guarantees conflict, right? Group projects always do.
Precisely. Plus, it gave the producers concrete goals and potential points of failure.
And then they added real stakes to those jobs.
Yeah, starting around season 10, I think, the rule became, if you get fired from the group job, you're out of the house. Automatic eviction.
So people actually got kicked off for messing up at work.
Yep. Happened to Greg Halstead in Hollywood, Joey Rosmus in Cancun. It definitely shifted the dynamic. Less social experiment, more like a really weird high-pressure internship.
And the rules inside the house got more complicated, too, especially around bad behavior.
Well, yeah. As the show went on, and maybe the casting focused more on volatile personalities, things got dicier. Physical violence became a recurring issue.
How did they handle that? Was it just zero tolerance?
Not exactly. That's what's interesting. It was often inconsistent. Remember Stephen Williams in Seattle slapping Irene McGee?
Vaguely, yeah.
The cast watched the tape, debated it, and actually voted to let him stay, but he had to do anger management. Producers seemed more interested in filming the debate than immediate safety sometimes.
Yikes. Did it get clearer later on?
They tried to formalize it, but it got weird. Sydney season, Trisha Cummings hit someone, but she only got evicted because the person she hit, Parisa, chose to kick her out.
So the victim decided.
In that case, yeah. Then in Portland, Nia Moore attacked Johnny Riley, but they changed the rule again. Only the uninvolved cast members could vote.
And they let her stay, even after attacking someone.
They did. And apparently she made more threats later. It felt like the rules were less about clear consequences and more about generating maximum drama by keeping volatile people around.
That seems ethically tricky.
Very. And then you have substance abuse. That became a huge factor.
Were there rules about drugs and alcohol?
They started doing random drug tests eventually. Brandon Kane in St. Thomas got evicted for testing positive for cocaine.
But alcohol was usually fine. Even encouraged sometimes, it seemed.
Alcohol seemed like fuel for the drama for sure, but hard drugs were a line. And interventions became part of the show too. Ruthie Alcaide in Hawaii had issues with alcohol, and they documented her getting help.
But the most tragic case was Joey Kovar, right? From the Hollywood season.
Yeah, that was really tough to watch. The show filmed his serious struggles with alcohol, cocaine, ecstasy, meth. A lot.
Did they try to help him?
They staged an on-camera intervention, and he agreed to leave the house for treatment. It was presented as this dramatic, positive turning point. But tragically, it wasn't enough, or it was too late. He died a few years later from opiate intoxication. He was only 29.
God, that's awful. It really makes you question the whole setup.
Exactly. It raises huge questions about whether putting young, sometimes vulnerable people in this intense filmed pressure cooker, surrounded by cameras and often alcohol, actually makes existing problems worse.
So, taking all this, the jobs, the weird rules, the tragedies, what's the big picture takeaway on how real world changed?
Well, the main criticism you always hear is that it stopped being anything close to a social experiment and just became about, well, the 7 H's, right? Hot bodies, hookups, hedonism, hot tubs.
Focusing on superficial drama, drinking, fighting, sex aisles.
Yeah. That Las Vegas season in 2002 is often seen as the big turning point. All excess, all the time.
But was that just the producers chasing ratings? Or did the audience want that too? Maybe the appetite for watching serious debates about AIDS just wasn't there anymore by the early 2000s.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It was probably both. Audience tastes changed, and production techniques definitely got more proactive in generating conflict.
Like what Irene McGee from Seattle said. She was really vocal about it, feeling manipulative.
Yeah, she became a major critic. Claimed the producers deliberately fostered an unhealthy environment, manipulated situations to create fights, and that the stress made her Lyme disease worse. She felt it was ethically bankrupt.
Her saying that really pulls back the curtain, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Suggests the reality was pretty heavily constructed.
It highlights that core contradiction. You can't really be a pure social experiment if you're actively shaping the environment and the narrative for maximum drama, especially when you're giving people free luxury housing and trips. That's not the real world for most people.
So the show changed, maybe lost its way depending on your view, but its legacy is undeniable.
Right.
Especially one part of it.
Oh, absolutely. You could argue the single biggest, most lasting legacy of the real world isn't even the real world itself.
It's the challenge.
Exactly. The spin-off game show. It's run for like 40 seasons now.
Yeah.
Way longer than the original show. It created this whole ecosystem of professional reality TV competitors.
And some use it as a serious launchpad,
Right.
like Sean Duffy from the Boston cast.
Right. Went from Real World and Challenge fame to becoming a U.S. congressman, and then even a cabinet secretary years later. It shows the surprising places that initial MTV exposure could lead.
Okay, so Real World gave us the blueprint for explosive, short-term drama in a confined space. But MTV's other giant took a totally different path.
Right. Let's pivot to Teen Mom. This is where the cameras didn't just stay for 6 months. They stayed for, like, a decade plus.
A huge shift. Instead of rotating casts, they committed to following the same core group of young women, Caitlin, Mossy, Amber, Leah, and the others, year after year after year.
It's a massive production commitment. Think about it. Long-term contracts, dealing with family members, kids growing up on camera. It's not just leasing a loft for half a year.
It started with 16 and Pregnant, which felt more documentary-ish, right? Like trying to show the realities of teen pregnancy.
Yeah, it had that public service announcement vibe initially. And studies did show teen pregnancy rates dropped significantly after it launched, so maybe it had that effect.
But then it morphed as the girls became celebrities.
It inevitably shifted from documenting the struggles of new parenthood to documenting, well, the struggles of being a reality TV star and navigating adulthood.
So less about diapers and feeding schedules, more about
Co-parenting drama, custody battles fought out in public, managing money, dealing with fame, new relationships, breakups, therapy. The whole adult life cycle, but under this intense media microscope.
and the franchise is still going strong, right? With Teen Mom, The Next Chapter, and Family Reunion.
Yep. And our sources show what they're focusing on now in the 2022-2025 timeframe. These women are adults dealing with major adult milestones.
Like weddings.
Exactly. We saw Cheyenne and Zach's big outdoor wedding. We saw Jalen proposing to Leah on a beach in Costa Rica. These are big planned life events, not the messy hookups of early reality TV.
The audience has been invested for so long, they want to see these moments.
Totally. And there's a huge focus now on mental health and processing past trauma, much more explicit than in the early days.
Like Tyler talking about his therapy.
Yeah, Tyler Baltiera being really open about his anxiety, his trauma, even discussing doing ketamine therapy with Caitlin on camera.
That feels like a big shift from how mental health might have been handled on, say, real-world Hawaii.
Definitely. Back then, someone's struggles, like Ruthie's issues with alcohol, might be framed mostly as drama. Now, on Teen Mom, it's often presented as an ongoing journey requiring professional help. It almost serves an educational role for viewers.
And the kids. The original babies are teenagers now.
Right. The moms are planning ultimate super sweet 16 parties for the kids who viewers first met as infants. It's surreal.
That's the really complicated part now, isn't it? The kids didn't sign up for this.
Exactly. They've grown up with cameras, documenting their lives, their parents' struggles, custody issues, sometimes legal problems, all playing out publicly. It raises massive ethical questions about consent and privacy for that second generation.
But the show still tackles big societal issues, maybe more maturely now.
It seems like it. You see Mossy and Taylor McKinney talking to their kids about equality, or meeting with Moms Demand Action to learn about responsible gun ownership and how to discuss gun violence.
That's pretty specific and timely, using the platform for something beyond personal drama.
Yeah, it's reality TV as a space for discussing, proactive parenting strategies around really difficult current topics. Less shock value, more practical application almost.
And relationships are still key, but maybe shown differently.
Yeah, like focusing on Jalen's supportive relationship with Leah, highlighting his Army background as a strength during the family reunion trips, showing stability can exist under the lens too.
There's also this whole theme of the teen-mom bond now, right?
Big time. The cast members reflecting together on their shared bizarre experience, talking about their friendships, what they've learned, supporting each other.
It's become kind of meta. The show is now partly about being on the show.
Exactly. They discuss growing up famous, the pressures, the lessons learned. It's documenting the experience of reality TV celebrity itself, which is a whole other layer.
Yeah.
Hashtag tag ZHAR. Conclusion.
Okay, so we have these two massive franchises. Real World, the originator, the social experiment that maybe lost its way. Teen Mom, the long-haul docudrama about growing up in public. What's the thread connecting them, ultimately, besides Boone and Murray?
Well, the core method is the same, right? Intense documentation of young people's lives as a source of drama and insight.
And there's even direct crossover. Corey Wharton.
Right. He started on The Real World, Explosion, then jumped over to become a regular on Teen Mom OG when he had a child with Cheyenne. It's all one extended universe, really.
So the unifying theme might be they both act like cultural barometers, capturing what issues are bubbling up.
I think so. Whether it was real world tackling AIDS head on in the 90s, maybe intentionally, or Teen Mom organically ending up documenting things like complex trauma therapy, gun safety talks, intense co parenting negotiations decades later.
They both reflect the anxieties and preoccupations of their time just by filming real life.
Yeah. And maybe they both show that the most compelling drama isn't manufactured, it's just life. The
Yeah.
messy, difficult, long-term process of growing up, figuring things out, dealing with challenges, that's the core story.
MTV's reality empire really did pivot, didn't it? From that loft experiment to this multi-generational chronicle.
It's a huge arc, proving that the real drama is in the struggle to become, a functional human being.
Both shows started with that idea of capturing when people stop being polite and start being truly real. Thinking about that journey from the ideological clashes like Puck versus Pedro to the focus on mental health and trauma processing in modern Teen Mom, what does that evolution tell us about what our society, or at least reality TV's reflection of it, thinks is the most important real stuff now?
That's a deep question. It definitely seems like the focus shifted inward, maybe, from external social conflicts to internal psychological struggles and navigating complex family dynamics. Which leads to a final thought for you, listener. If you think about your own life, your own journey of growing up, figuring things out, all the unavoidable challenges and milestones, what part of your long, messy, difficult story, if it were filmed 24/7 and edited for maximum impact, what facet of your reel would become the next big reality TV flashpoint?